got New York mad at me, homie, because they couldn't understand what I was trying to say.
So when you got two men who claim to be, the toughest in the league, speaking on somebody who is no longer in the league and doing what he was doing, living his life, of course he got every right to fire back. Why are y'all speaking about this individual? Why?
Peace, world. We back with another roundtable. Tonight we got the brother Charleston White. Also, we got the brother Karim Johnson. Both of these guys have a presence on social media. They both are very opinionated people. So we're gonna have a discussion with the brothers tonight, man. Charleston, if you want to introduce yourself to everybody that might have been under a rock and don't know who you are, same thing with yourself, Karim.
Hey, man, Charleston White, man, by way of Fort Worth, Texas, co-host of gang-related, not gang-related podcast.
Peace and power, peace and power. Karim Bliz Johnson, by way of East New York, Brooklyn, Penn Workman's finest, the prince of all things positive, progressive, and for the people. Salute, salute. My pleasure to meet you and to sit here with you, my brother, to have this very, very engaging dialogue. I've definitely been watching a lot of your videos and respect a lot of your opinions.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that, black man.
All right. Well, we're going to get right into it. First question I got for both of you guys is DMX died on April 9th, 2021. Now, after suffering a heart attack, he was 50 years old. Now, what are you guys' thoughts on his death? And let's start with you, Karim.
It wasn't something that wasn't expected. I mean, we've all seen him struggle. I was made aware of who he was while I was away on my first bid. So I knew from that point on, that he was somebody that was struggling with addiction. This is before anybody had ever heard of him. A brother named Nicholas Natural Styles, had put me on to him while we was on one of those slave plantations doing what we do. Told me about the brother, how nice and talented he was. And, how dudes speak in a can. So I figured he was just blowing hot air, but he said, yo, I'm telling you, once my man gets straight, he going to set this industry on fire, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, some years later when he came out, I said, okay, I knew about the brother. I heard about him. People put me on to him, but I knew of his struggles from that point on. And throughout his career, nobody really helped. You understand what I'm saying? They never helped him to the degree of which he could have been helped since they was eating off of him. So, when I saw the verses with him and the brother Snoop, he didn't look well at that time, And if you have your eyes on and you can see a lot of these artists and entertainers don't really look well. So it wasn't it wasn't unexpected for me. Again, it's, one of the sad stories of where we are as a people, when we are dealing with things like drug addiction, oppression, back and forth to prison, things of that nature.
It had no bearing on me. I try not to get emotionally tied to entertainers when something bad happened to them. I exist in real life. I exist in real world. I've been watching people die struggling with drug addiction since I was a kid. I also been watching people overcome drug addiction with their God. I've seen people profess to believe in the same Jesus and the same God, quote the same lyrics that DMX would do in prayers before people. And I've seen people take what he believed in and win with it. So when he died, man, I ain't give a fuck. It didn't have no bearing on me. When I had a grandmother who was addicted to crack, heroin, I watched DMX. I saw him in concert, the Rough Riders tour, him and Cash Money, Eve and them. I was on the third row. I remember his stardom. I seen him jumping on top of the speakers that's way up there and putting on with the energy he had, right? And I saw the love that he got in the crowd. And so then I remember him being on VH1 and people laughing at him, making mockery of his addiction when he was on there with the white boy dude.
All right, now this year we also lost Black Rob. He died of a cardiac arrest. Now back in '99, Diddy signed Black Rob into to a 10 album deal worth $450,000. Could or should have Diddy done more for Black Rob during his time of need? And let's start with you, Charleston.
Before I answer that question, I want to highlight something. You just spoke of 2 black men that died of cardiac arrest. Do we talk around that, or do we be real?
No, you be real.
So let me just be real, right? Both of these black men was right at 50. I think the average lifespan of a black man is in his early 60s. What's leading up to cardiac arrest at 50-something years old, homie? There was a report today that DMX had less than maybe $50,000 to his name. So Black Rob died broke. Just say if Diddy could have done more, okay? Say he should have done more. But also, let's look at the fact, homie. Not just Black Rob, me, and some more other guys. At one point in time in our life, we had a lot of money. No matter if did nobody else do nothing for us, we accumulated a lot of money compared to some of our peers, compared to some of our family members. And we squandered that money off, right? When we should have, we was buying chains, we was buying pussy, we was buying cars, we was buying clothes, when we should have been putting mom in the business. We should have been getting a family house for mom. We should have been buying land like the cocaine cowboys did, right? Everybody sold dope in this country. So when I look at Black Rob and say, man, Diddy got a history of fucking over everybody, homie. He got a history of fucking over everybody he's encountered, from Biggie to Total.
Well, they say Shine, Black Rob, G Dep, Biggie, Loon, Mace, Craig Mack. Now,
but this is what I'm saying. Just put me in the game, coach. Diddy can fuck over me, homie, but once I'm in the game, I'm gonna utilize the opportunity. Put me on stage, nigga. I'm gonna capitalize. Like just put me on stage. So once the opportunity is presented, you know you gotta take the fucking to get in. Everybody know when you start out playing basketball, the agents, somebody gotta fuck you. Until you get to where Denzel Washington is at winning Oscars, man, you gotta get fucked going up. Everybody know that. But do you take advantage of the opportunity like Jay-Z did? Can we say Diddy was wrong? Man, he probably was, homie. But look, let's look at the choices and the decisions of the man who had a heart attack in his 50s. How was he eating? How was he living? Who were the people around him? What was his support system like? What was his network of friends like? And then I think we can better understand how to teach our young people, homie, to live past 50, or how to teach them to be successful on the back end of a rap career than to end up like DMX and Black Rob.
Brother Karim?
Well, again, I concur with the brother. I've seen a lot of brothers getting money, regardless of what industry they was in. And self-care is something that black men just don't do at all. You know what I'm saying? Once you're acquiring a certain amount of income, once you're around certain individuals, and there's no talk of going to the doctor. I understand the brother was diabetic, but at what point do you catch that? My dad was a substance abuser and a heavy drinker and had diabetes. By the time he cleaned up, he was able to reverse the diabetes. And then we talking about a man, an individual who had knowledge of self, who gave me knowledge of self, you understand, but fell by the wayside of the vices that was around him, you understand, and drunk himself into a stupor, utilized heavy narcotics to a stupor, and had to come up out of that. But in the course of coming out of that, he did so much damage to his body, he became diabetic. You dig what I'm saying? But once he got back on his dean and did what he was supposed to do, he went back to college in his mid-50s and acquired his master's degree and just retired, you know what I'm saying, in his 70s as a licensed counselor, social worker. You understand what I'm saying? So you have to know, just like you said, you're going to get swayed. You're going to get played in all these industries because that's just what capitalism is in this country. Ain't no black man, ain't no melanated man, ain't no individual coming from our ilk going to go up in these industries and not feel that pinch. But what do you do? What did he do while he was in that industry? Did he play the game or did he let that game play him? It's as simple as that. Our men don't take care of themselves. I'm 52. I don't smoke, drink, eat red meat, none of that. Alcohol, nothing. You did what I said, because I know what we up against in these streets. And if you really woke and aware, then you got to be on point mentally, physically, and spiritually. You can't be playing games. So I got to question the intelligence of these individuals that have been in this industry 2 and 3 decades and not on their grind.
And man, brother, that's man, you articulated what I wish most people would get, right? You talked about your father falling down the drug addiction and then having to fight back, but reversing the effects, right? You can't reversing diabetes, right? Eating your way back to the start line of health, right? So what I'm saying, man, we're honoring our fallen heroes, but we're not talking about the truth of who they were as individuals and as people. We get stuck on the artists, and it's easy for me to say, man, fuck DMX, homie. It's not easy for me to say, fuck Earl. I want to know, Earl struggled with the addiction. If DMX would have got the love that Earl has gotten after his passing, then DMX would have had a little bit more to fight with. The love that he received, he got an album coming out. Many of these guys fall because they don't have the fame anymore. They don't get the same love, right? So they go to the addiction, they go to the bottle, and they be wanting the love. They get high, they get drunk, and they reminisce about all the love when they was on stage. Soon as he died, his music began trending in numbers like none other before. What if he could have done that when he was alive? What if he could have, you see what I'm saying? Now he got an album coming out. When he was alive, didn't nobody want to put him in a studio to hear him put an album out? Now that he's dead, he got an album out. What if he could have put that album out that would have gave him some fuel to fight? You see what I'm saying? So, man, I'm hurt that Earl died chasing DMX. Earl didn't get no love. DMX, they cried in the streets for DMX. And they talked about Earl when he was in Arizona at the gas station. They talked about Earl when he was up in Virginia walking around with normal people. Man, he was ridiculed. But soon as Earl died, here come DMX, the character, got all that love, homie. When do we start embracing men for who they are? Nipsey Hussle was a gangbanger. Aramis had a heart to build for the community. Same with Eazy-E. They give us these characters and we hold on to the character and we never get to honor and truly love the man who plays the character. We need example of men like his father who once failed, who don't get the love that DMX got. We shame our uncles for being dope fiends. We kind of look at grandmama funny because she once was a crack whore, but she's in church now. We doubt her God. And we watch grandmother get off drugs. We watch our mothers get off drugs, but yet still resent them for being on drugs. So come on, homie, we got to reverse this some kind of way with what he just said. We got an example of men went back and got their college degree at the age of DMX died. And I got New York mad at me, homie, because they couldn't understand what I was trying to say, because I'm saying I show up to assassinate these characters. I show up to assassinate these images that's controlling our minds of our people and replace them with new images. Man, I'm a father. I'm a husband. I'm not known for cheating on my wife. I'm not known as the community guy who gotta pay and take tithes. I got an honorable reputation amongst my village, but my people hate me because I speak against the characters that our oppressors give us the praise.
It's comfortable for our people to hate you because when love is shown to each other, there's been penalties for that. So
Wow.
even the conscious mind will find it comfortable to discredit what you're saying and not allow your thoughts to manifest. It's easy for them to do that.
You just gave me chills, brother, when you say we was punished. It was
you was punished for showing love. This is what I tell all of my people. It's easy. It's comfortable to hate. It's comfortable to remain in an oppressive condition. That shit is comfortable. To be loved, to love each other, that takes strength. It's struggle to love each other because we always got whipped out. We always got murdered. We always got lynched for it. So now you're in a space where it's comfortable to look at your brother and say, nah, you don't know what you're talking about, and start talking funny shit and try to poke holes in the character, right? In the integrity that you walk in. That's easy. So when you say New York, you can't speak on all of New York because New York for a long time, and I'm always say it, has had a misrepresentation of our people going out of town, right? People who are not true to the streets of New York is what's being repped out of town because they couldn't do it here. So they go out of town and people caught up in the accent and the image and not what the man is doing or saying. So it's a misrepresentation because I hear you.
Let me say this about the coast. From the South. If you come down the South with New York license plates during the time when we was called niggers, you was a big brother to the Southern brothers. You was the one who made it up. They treated you, they rolled out the red carpet because it's everybody's dream to go to Harlem, to go to the Cotton Club, to go visit the Apollo. That's every Black person's dream. So we've never looked up at New York with discontentment, right? Hip hop introduced us to an East Coast, West Coast, fuck New York mind mentality. We inherit that by way of hip hop. That's not given to us by way of people. We don't exchange that fuck our New York cousins, fuck our California cousins. When them yellow license plates come down here, boy, they be happy to see people. They like big brothers to the South. But since Biggie and Tupac, man, fuck them New York niggas. Since by way of the South being introduced into the hip hop community, man, fuck them country bumpkin niggas.
Well, I seen it at a different page. I seen it before that because I was in the service. I went and I was in Texas. I was in Fort Bliss. So I stayed in Fort Bliss for a little while. I was in San Antonio at Sam Houston in 88. So when the crack started coming and dudes from New York started going out of town hustling, and the wrong individuals who couldn't get that money in New York started going out of town, it became something that was really, really misrepresented because they started doing dumb shit that they couldn't do in the town. And of course, that's going to you combine that with the hip hop. And again, now you have two elements. And then people start, getting on they real and they feeling shit and saying, well, you know what? That ain't who we thought they were. So y'all no longer welcome here. You dig what I'm saying? You using all these things that we're not supposed to be engaged in from the rip that destroys and put brother against brother, Southerner against Northerner. You dig what I'm saying? Somebody from the Caribbean against somebody from the States. All these little flags and different allegiances to dumb shit. And there's nothing been more damaging than that cocaine crack era. And you infuse it with hip hop and these little clowns. You dig what I'm saying? These little bitch made dudes that ran out of town that can hide and create these same characters that they create in the music on the streets. And they doing dumb shit.
With the West Coast, we had the gangbangers come down and put the So
it's a lot with that.
With that being said, because that's our history. That's modern day American history, right? A new COINTEL kind of pro game that's been put down on us, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do we heal from there, right? At one point, when do we openly have this discussion as a culture? Because we don't talk about the epidemic. We don't talk about the effects of what the crack epidemic left. We don't even talk about that. We ignore the effects of what crack babies were born into, those conditions. That's been erased and non-talked about. And then the division of hip hop, right? Mm-hmm. Nobody ever went back and mended the pain and the damage of the East Coast, West Coast beef between Biggie and Pac, homie. That was never done.
They haven't, because it hasn't been beneficial to the European. You understand? And at a certain point, we wouldn't be building on this discussion because the technology wasn't there. But see, the technology is here now. This is the new encyclopedia. So our grandchildren are going to see us and hear us speak. This shit ain't going nowhere. So now is the time to heal. Now is the time to say, hold on, man. Them dudes ain't official. That bullshit they doing is criminology. We don't rock like that. If you're going to be a man, you can't be criminal. That doesn't build a man. But that was the rites of passage for so many years. So you got people stuck in that funk.
Now, there's been a shift from drug dealer rap to drug user rap. Now, for example, you had Jay-Z, Biggie, Jeezy, 50 Cent, T.I., Rick Ross, Pusha T, who rapped about selling drugs. But now you have rappers rapping about taking drugs and being addicts. How did the shift happen?
Man, syrup became a cultural phenomenon that made getting high look cool, right? The double cup, the Sprite, it made getting high look cool. And even the dope fiend look, right? You got the droopy face because you loaded off the serve, you leaning, you nodding like the heroin addict, you itching and you scratching, and you doing this at the club, in the club. So it made the culture. There's been nothing positive about the culture, so it made it easy for dope fiends to be cool. It made it easy for a trick to look like a player. Mm-hmm. It made it easy for a trick that he can't get no other woman other than the fact that flanging his money on it. It made him look like a player. It's because the image that the culture gave us, right? Confucius said, he who controls images controlled the mind. You just named some rappers that all they talked about was selling dope. Then here come Future. Same nigga come in talking about young nigga, move that dope. Young nigga, move that dope to Percocets, to codeine. So it's the culture that we ignore, homie. That if we speak out against that particular culture, we'll sell out. We'll Sambo, we'll coon. Man, one of my biggest regrets is developing disdain in my heart for Dolores C. Tucker because of Tupac. When Tupac denounced her, Dolores C. Tucker, you's a motherfucker. And all that woman wanted, homie, she knew what the industry was doing. And she tried to get some legislation and she tried to get some backing to, if nothing else, man, make it hard for them people to promote this stuff to us and make us like it. So fast forward 25 years later, homie, I'm trying to step in that woman's shoes without, I don't know, how can I say without anything? Because you got to get backlash. She got it. She was an upstanding black woman. So it's our culture, homie. They gave it to us. We inherited it.
Yeah, you inherit everything that the Euros put forth. In order for them to make it cool to us, It had to be cool and respected in their world. So they excused a lot of their entertainers who were stone cold junkies, right? And encouraged hip hop to merge with that, to say, I want to be a rock star. I don't want to no longer be an MC, a rapper. I want to be a rock star.
Party like a rock star.
Right? So now the rock star image is an image of a dope fiend, of somebody who can't get himself together, but only on stage. So once you incorporate that and you show these rock stars still acquiring wealth, still acquiring riches, it's only natural for the real coon, the real Sambo to want to do that. And they push that on our kids for 2 generations. For 2 generations. Now they have to have a vehicle. They have to have a way to get some type of income from it. Once you put the war on drugs, once you can't go get that cocaine no more, and you have to concentrate on the opiate, but you can't get it because they kicking your ass, you put it into a frame of, okay, this is prescription. Let's see what we can utilize to get the society doped up. We already got their minds on a miseducation platform where we're funneling the true information that people need to get liberated. So now that we got people in a panic state or frenzied state, let's get them high on the new shit. Let's put the syrup out. Let's put the Viagra out. I can remember hearing them first talking about Molly's in music. You dig what I'm saying? I didn't understand because I've been away for a decade. So I didn't know what a Molly was. Until I started seeing dudes come through talking about, yeah, you know, this is what I do in the clubs in the street. But I'm saying you coming into the system and you got on panties. You wearing all type of dumb shit. You got nipple rings and you behind the wall. So what the hell's going on out there? Molly is causing y'all to think that shit is cool. Okay, so now I know what I'm stepping back out into. But again, the society moved to the vibration of hip hop because they know the vibration is attracting. Right now, when you look at it, you see it everywhere. A person can't even speak English good, but understands that vibration of hip hop. So if you could get the hip hop artist to remain a dope fiend, you can rule the world. And that's what they doing now.
So let me ask y'all this. Is hip hop dead as far as the hip hop that we grew up to?
It's gone, homie. It's a young brother out of southwest side of Houston named Skeet Taste. And I've been listening to this little brother every day for about 8 days straight since I heard it. I won't stop listening to him because he touches my soul. I get to connect with my God because I hear him talk about his God, right? As poetic as Tupac was, I was 17 years old, going on 18 when Tupac's lyrics, Lord knows, touched me and said, a rapper is talking about God. Maybe God can hear us, and not Mama Neil. And I was going to court at that time with the state's recommendation for me to be transferred from the juvenile system into the adult prison system with a gangbangers mentality. And I was going back to court, listening to that album, and learned to start talking to God, the God that my mother introduced me to, right? And so from a rapper's lyrics, I start saying, okay, maybe Mama's God is real. I needed that, homie. So then when I came home, and 80% of children are rearrested within the first year after being released from a juvenile system, right? I got caught with 10 pounds of marijuana and 2 firearms going enroll in college and University of Arkansas with a full scholarship, right? So I messed that off. I got out on bond, and 8-Ball MJG had just dropped his solo album Lost. And it was a song called Lost. Man, I'm lost and I don't know which way to go. I don't know who I can call that can save me. So I'm going to drop to my knees and ask to be forgiven and pray for another way for me to be living. I was thinking about jumping bond, and those lyrics carried me to sort out some things that I was going through in trouble. Just as when it was time to put in work, I had some drive-by music that I can put in to fuel the dark side of me under the influence of a mind-altering substance. While my mind is altered, I got the lyrics to fuel me to go do damage and harm to other people. So is hip hop dead? No, the force is greater than ever. Is our hip hop dead? We lost Biggie and Tupac, didn't we? It died them days. On two separate days, when Pac died and Biggie died, our hip hop died, homie. Rappers had never been gunned down like that before behind rap lyrics.
Well, you know, I'm coming from the Mecca, so I get to hear individuals all day, every day, man. Since I've been on social media and talking and pushing my message and educating and embracing with like-minded brothers, I get music all day, man. Dudes send me everything. Dudes want me to manage them, all type of things. So my feel for it is different, because I never believed in the industry running it anyway. But our space, we don't have a scene. There's no scene in order to give life to hip hop. There's no more jams in the park. You understand what I'm saying? There's no more hip hop clubs, especially in NYC. There's no more hip hop radio. There's no vehicle for the kids to embrace the true elements of hip hop in order for that vibration to live. Is it dead? No, but it's definitely dying. You know, it's a kid now out of Rockaway, out of Far Rockaway, Rome. Kid is fire. Fire. You dig what I'm saying? I listen to him frequently. It's a lot of individuals that's getting it on. But again, without that scene, without control of how it's represented and how it's presented, then we don't own it. And when you don't own something, somebody can easily kill it off. You understand? We never, ever owned the business aspect of it. We at least at one point owned the culture. Now we losing it all.
We lost Motown, homie.
Yeah.
We lost Bad Boy. We lost Death Row. We lost LaFace Records. We lost No Limit Records. Uptown. Man, where are those black? Where they? What happened? How did we get pushed out? Well, when you look out there, it ain't no more Motown home for black artists. How?
You know how we got pushed out? Because those grown-ass men allow Europeans to push up in them. That's just what happened. Them dudes allowed their sexual vices to take over and let them Euros play up in their scrotum. That's how it got pushed out.
Now, both of you guys are highly outspoken individuals. Now, y'all let y'all critics, y'all let y'all detractors have it. Y'all give them both the same energy. Now, after 20 years of insults, we see Kwame Brown seems to have had enough of his critics. Now, he recently went at Matt Barnes, Stephen Jackson, and Charlemagne. Now, what are your thoughts on Kwame Brown? And do you feel he's in the right to fire back, especially when people started bringing his family into the equation? Let's start with you, Karim.
Well, first of all, they never should have had his name in their mouths. That's just off the cuff without understanding and knowing who he is. When people start making a living gossiping, the industry of gossip for entertainment is a white woman's industry. They started that. You understand? White women started the gossip industry. You know, Wendy Williams capitalized off it, but that's a white woman's industry. So when you got two men who claim to be, you know, the toughest in the league, speaking on somebody who is no longer in the league and doing what he was doing, living his life, of course he got every right to fire back. Why are y'all speaking about this individual? Why? You understand? This is why when I'm on social media, I don't gossip. If I'm not teaching our men, if I'm not teaching our babies and our women, I'm not on here. I'm not on here. Even those who I don't agree with, even those who I detest because I know they're doing more harm to our people than good, I'm not gossiping about them personally. I've been with these A-list individuals, the top rappers, the top rap groups. They wore me as a vest. So I know about them personally, but I would never discredit them personally because they got kids, they got grandkids. These dudes got grandkids now. So I'm not going to divulge personal information that I know about these individuals. And I could be on social media all day doing it. I could have 500,000 subscribers if I want to gossip like a chick. It couldn't have been me with the access that he has. Because I'm quite sure if it was me and it was them, I would have been to them. I would have been at their necks, at their doorsteps already. So of course, if he's just utilizing his words and he created a platform to do it in, so be it, man. Get a brother his blessings and let him do what he got to do, especially when he coming from a point of teaching people about how it is in that locker room, in that environment, how it is to be a young kid placed into an industry where grown men only interest is to get money off of him. They don't know what that man's struggle was. So he should have fired back at him. And when he see him, he should fire off in their mouth.
I'm with Karim on this. I'm not a sports fan. And I've never heard Kwame Brown name before. I never knew him till now.
Wow.
I never knew his story. I never knew that he came from poverty. He was a straight A student. He was raised by his mother. He maintained dignity and integrity throughout the years. He never was caught up in any scandals. I didn't realize that Michael Jordan resented him in so many ways and mistreated the kid.
Yeah.
Made it put barriers and obstacles before him. And these was heroes, right? These are heroes to children that when these guys meet these heroes, your hero treats you like that. And for this, and I'm gonna say kid, right? For this kid to endure that, to not live up to the expectations that people believed he should have lived up to. He never got off on drugs. He never had any major run-ins with the police. He don't speak with resentment. He don't seem angry. He don't seem hateful. So for this dude to endure all this and still remain silent. So that means he had to be humble. He had to be meek. He had to have some type of constitution that he stood on to remain silent just as a man.
That's right.
Homie.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? So now he's speaking out and they saying he wrong. They're trying to ostracize him. They have put the Willie Lynch doctrine down on him and say he angry, he wrong, from Stephen A. Smith to Matt Barnes to Stephen Jackson, homie. The black community is supposed to stand with their brother, homie, and embrace him.
And I want to squeeze this in. A lot of people would take black people, we just passionate people. We speak with passion, we speak with conviction. And I don't like how they'll try to take your people will take your passion and conviction.
I saw that.
Try to put that underlying threat of violence.
Yeah, they tried to do him like that.
Make your passion and make your conviction seem aggression.
Yeah. Definitely.
Well, when did that start? Because our mamas, our fathers, when they told us to do something, we didn't listen. Then they spoke with that. They spoke with that passion. They spoke with it. We listened, and we understood that it's not coming from a place of violence. It's just because we believe in what we say.
But let me finish adding this, right? So we got a black man who's really been wronged, kind of like how Jesse Owens and them got done, homie. He got done like that quietly by his own people. And he went on to be quiet, leave the league, and never spoke negatively about that situation, right? So for them to bring this back out, only to say he's a loser, he was a bust, but they don't tell us he had 60 million at 18 and he bought his mother a house. They didn't tell us how he once didn't even have shoes to play basketball in, homie. How they leave that out? How do you black men get that platform and leave that out?
Because they following the trail of European women. When you move in these arenas, when you get this media training, because that's what it is, quote unquote, media training. It is a mind washing. So if you're in an industry that was created by European women and you're speaking in that industry on a daily basis, you take on that characteristic. So you don't never speak the truth to power. You speak narratives. You speak clickbait. You speak sensationalization because you want people to come and watch. That is a mind conditioning. So you got these big, tall, goofy NBA dudes with the characteristics of a Marilyn Monroe or, again, a Joyce Landers or one of these type of individuals. That's problematic. But this is what we're living in now. This is the weird world that's been created when you take real men off the set. And then the real men are damaged behind them walls and come home and they just want to rest. They don't want to engage in these dialogues because it's reliving the trauma. And the work is extensive because our people are broke up mentally and spiritually. So this is a lot of heavy, heavy work. If you're not built for it, I encourage people to stay up out of it because I welcome the struggle. It builds diamonds. Because our people will tell you in a minute, get the hell out of my face with that consciousness. Get that out of my face. I've had people at my book readings tell me, yo, homie, I don't read. And say it like it's saying they saying something slick. That is the damage that has been done. So when you see these black men with the characteristics of a European woman, you could only imagine what's going to come out of their mouths.
And we all have to go through that media training when we try to enter into that world of entertainment.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Most definitely.
They presented me with it. Media training.
Media training.
Let's train that image.
Right, because the training is not to speak to your people. You good where you at speaking to your people. You can get 10 to 20 million views speaking to your people. But when they want you to speak to their people, now you have to be trained. And if you agree to the training, if you sit long enough, you're going to switch up again, like all these comedy skits that most of our comedians showed you. You're whitewashing, right? The Jamie Foxx, the Dave Chappelle's, when they transform into them Euros, we think it's funny and it's hilarious, but they giving us game. In order to get up in there, you watch the transformation. Watch how they made Michael Strahan out of a big, scary defensive end into a meek little dude sitting there with his legs crossed. That's media training, man. And they do it to the best of them. The ones who cannot take that training.
I had to shake it off. Them. They had me, man. They had grabbed me. I had to shake it off. They had grabbed me. I had to grab me, man. They had grabbed me, man. They had me on the shorts. I don't even wear shorts, man. They had me putting on shorts and everything. I ain't bullshit.
Right now, look. So we're gonna switch the vibe a little bit. We're gonna get it, man.
Yeah, Unc had to grab me. Hey, man, that ain't the way. This way, nigga. So I know he know what he's talking about.
Now I want to ask y'all, there's a term, defund the police. Now, which means reallocating money from the police budget and relocating the money to communities they serve. Now, do you support defunding the police? And let's start with you, Karim.
No. That's give me an amount. You'll never defund them. The police are just an extension of the United States military. When you say defund the police, what are you going to take? 10 million, 20 million? What? If it's going to be nationwide, 10 billion, 20 billion? So what? They're not going to be able to fly a helicopter more than once a week? They're not taking money from these individuals that's going to hamper them. You understand what I'm saying? They're not going to take this money and put it into a program or an institution where you're going to liberate yourself. All you're going to do is damage the community because you don't have your own in the community doing the job that they're going to do. You understand what I'm saying? You just don't have it. It's a difference if we were in the community as first responders providing first aid. If we were in the community correcting the ills, when you see and you know this dude is running around touching little kids in the community, when you know these individuals running around trying to knock a 70-year-old lady for her little bag or her little pearls, if we was doing that job, then it's something different. But when you're saying just to defund it, you dig, that's a blanket statement for dudes to just to jump on the bandwagon. The money, they're not defunding nothing. And the money that they are reallocating is just going to go to some other coon organization that's going to put a band-aid on some dumb shit. I'm in politics. I sit with these individuals. I see what's going on with nonprofits and 501c and how they get their budgets and they put these little programs together that ain't doing nothing at all. At all. I'm an anger management specialist in a nonprofit. You understand what I'm saying? I deal with dudes that have ACS cases that can't see their children until they come and take my course. So I know what the people on top are thinking. I know what they're speaking about. That's another way to get every other nationality that is accredited, that have these degrees, to get them paid. Because without those programs and without them creating a need, a fictitious need for our people, they don't get no bread. They can't eat. So of course, let's take it from the police. I'm not going to allow my people to run into that false truth that you think you're going to defund the police and that's going to be the answer to your problems. You're wrong. The answer to our problems is men getting up off their ass and doing the job that they're supposed to do as men. And stop going to jail, criminalizing yourself. We ain't criminals.
Now, Charleston, I know Brother Karim said a lot, man, but I'm gonna let you go ahead and follow that up.
Defund the police is an ideology, is a liberal ideology that's propagated to poor people, right? For example, Los Angeles Police Department has $1 billion budget. They have $1 billion budget. Many of the programs are after school programs, our Boys and Girls Club, Parks and Recreation. Many of that money comes through the police department, their CCPD funding. So when you say defund the police department, you're going to defund funding that is allocated to our communities under the umbrella of public safety, right? So the part of the police budget has to do with public safety, crime prevention, crime intervention, neighborhood watch services, gang intervention programs, after school programs. So most people don't know what they're saying when they're saying defund the police. If they went to more city council meetings and had something to say about how the police spend their money, their tax-paying money, if they was involved in that, how the money's allocated. They have a voice. The police department, they have to answer to the citizens. They have to answer to the city manager. So if you got the right voice that's speaking, then you can hold the police accountable. But what tends to happen, like Brother Karim says, when you develop the 501c3, which most Black people completely rely on the 501c3 to fix the ills and the problems in the community. When the 501c3, the nonprofit industrial complex, was solely set up to hinder and control social movements. It was, get this book that's called The Revolution Will Not Be Funded, and it breaks down the industrial nonprofit complex, right? It breaks it down, and the only reason nonprofits was established was to hinder and control social movements, right? So
especially ours.
Especially ours, right? Mainly after the civil rights movement. Mainly it was created after the civil rights movement. So then you had President George Bush, who came along and got in bed with the church, right? The government got in bed with the church. It was called faith-based initiative. So our government created the faith-based initiative where when we have problems, why you think you always see the preacher speaking out at police shootings? Why you think anytime the politician have to come talk to black people, they stop by the church first? They don't go to the real community leaders, right? That's the faith-based initiative. That's the 501(c) tax exempt status that they give to our communities, right? So the 501(c)(3) nonprofit is the new hustle for black communities. It's a begging game. It's a begging game. And when you look at the numbers, when you look at how they itemize their spending, only 5% of money given to nonprofit organizations is actually spent with the people, amongst the people. 95% is spent on overhead, paying salaries, lunch meals, furniture, keeping the lights on. So when we look at defunding the police, now let's see where the money's going and say, no, that need to go to the people. That need to go to the people that's actually doing the grassroots work, that don't have the major buildings downtown to pay salaries.
Now, my next question is, 2 months ago, Tamika Mallory, she was criticized and labeled a sellout for doing a Cadillac commercial. Now, my son and a couple other people came to her defense and said, well, my son in particular came to her defense and said, activists have bills to pay. Sorry. Now, in your opinion, is it right for activists to take corporate sponsorship or use their activism for self-monetary gains? Let's start with you, Charleston.
Let me just say this. I had a 501(c)(3 and I never applied for a grant. I never took corporate sponsorships. I never took donations from corporate, right? I create youth programs. I create youth development, youth engagement programs. I have an anti-gang cognitive intervention program that's a 16-week curriculum that I develop, that I sell and go teach and train for a fee to the probation departments, right? But corporate sponsors can't give me no money. Once corporate sponsors give me some money and I say something that they don't like, then they take that money, then what we gonna do? So I learned to, I go to my constituents, people I can call niggas, them dope dealers, the prostitutes, the people in the community. That's where I get my money from. And so I can stand independent and speak how I want to speak, and I can cuss out the police. I can go downtown and get drug out of City Hall. I just shot a big commercial for our upcoming mayor on the steps of a Pier 1 building, the biggest building in Fort Worth, Texas, which is gonna be the new City Hall. The next day, I said some things to make white folks cringe. Now they can't play that commercial, but they don't give me no money. They can't give me no money. So once they give you some money, you can't be for your people, man. I'm just gonna say that.
Look, yeah, you already know how I feel. I done barked on so many people for it, right? I call them information merchants. I just say this because, again, I'm in the town. I done sat with them at these very same tables. I trained some of them when it came to the cure violence work that they claim that they started, but we really took the program and incorporated from the brothers out of Chicago, right? That was Operation Ceasefire. That became cure violence, and now it is the framework for what they call in the crisis management system. So I already know all that garbage that they talking about as far as beginning and they being the forerunners. And first, they're not credible messengers at all. Ain't none of them bust no hammer. Ain't none of them been behind the walls doing nothing. Homie, here's what he is. You dig what I'm saying? Whatever they, but I'm telling you this. Malcolm, from what I know, never took no corporate money. I never seen that. And he died penniless, right? As far as we concerned. George Jackson, who I read daily, been reading him daily since 1990. That is who I read more than anybody, more than any other book that I own. George L. Jackson died behind the walls, never had corporate sponsorship, and did more for more people when it came to liberation and the true liberation process. You dig what I'm saying? Huey, all of our greats died penniless, not on no corporate sponsorship. So activism is broke work. Activism is not being appreciated by those who you know need it the most. That is what the struggle is. You understand? That's the struggle. Even if you're going to use examples of Fidel Castro and Che, they was in the jungles. You dig what I'm saying? Winnie, all of our greats. Asada ain't even come back because she knew somebody that had some corporate sponsorship would give her up. And these individuals who they are under the armpit of the reverend that was trying to bring our greatest sister back here. So of course,
I broke away from the NFL. I was a part of an organization that's called ICANN, Incarcerated Children Advocacy Network, Campaign Fair Sentencing for Youth, based out of Washington, D.C., partner with the NFL. We in Super Bowl commercials. I broke away from them people, homie, because I wouldn't take no money.
Yeah,
the people in this city, homie, the mayor, the governor of this state, many people don't know what to do with me because I won't take the money. What do we want? He can't be bald. He can't be, he won't take no money. Man, for a long time, homie, I walked around playing like I was crazy, saying I don't want no money. I don't know what I'd do if I get some money. I ain't gonna be there for the people. If I get a bunch of money, homie, I ain't gonna have the same passion I have, nigga, to stand in the ghetto and walk with them people, nigga, knock on the door and do what I do. You got to be broke to start out doing that kind of shit. Why you think you ain't seen no nigga with no money come knock on no poor niggas' door? They'll never do it, homie.
No.
It's too uncomfortable to go to the ghetto and be amongst them people and they stink. And they'll cuss you out for trying to feed their kids.
Exactly.
Homie. You got to fight black people to help black people. And you can die doing it.
Exactly. Listen, man, how can you take from a corporation that fund the police? You saying defund the police, but these corporations are the ones paying the police, so you gonna take the money. How does that look to black people? Make it make sense.
The next segment is there's an individual named Kevin Samuels. I don't know if you two guys are familiar with him. Now, He's an image consultant. Now, he's also known for giving out dating advice and ranking women. Now, is Kevin Samuels a truth teller, or is his advice unrealistic, misguided, and does it also tear down women? What's your take on that guy?
I come up with grandmama and them, homie. All the little boys went fishing with granddaddy. And when we had a family reunion, granddaddy wasn't over talking to Aunt Nay and Aunt B and the women them. Women correct women. Steel sharpens steel. Iron sharpens iron. As a man, I don't need to be telling a woman nothing, and she not my woman. I can't correct them sisters. The woman need to sit in the huddle and correct the women. And he need to get over in the locker room and help create strong children, as well as help repair some of our broken men. And I'm just gonna say that.
You know, I keep it a buck. He seems kind of whorish to me. I'm gonna keep it a buck. Listen, I've been around players, hardcore players, Memphis players. You understand what I'm saying? And even those type of men who see women at their worst don't talk down to them the way this individual does. You dig what I'm saying? He has a lot of feminine tendencies. That sound like a bitter feminine woman. You dig what I'm saying? I'm all for building up my women and my people. The men can be adjusted. The men behaviors. We have a lot of atoning that we have to do with each other as men to sit in the space and to down women. Women are only going to move to the beat of how we vibrate the society. So once we are corrected, once we are standing tall, once we are there, they're going to fall in line because they want to see strong men. They want their men. So when you provide a space and you make an income from talking down to our women and still putting them in a space where you're allowing them to be whores to another type of simp, soft, sensitive individual, you doing a great disservice to our people. So I don't know the brother personally, but I just see he has a little simp in him, a lot of whorish tendencies. You dig what I'm saying? That, you know, like one of them college boosters that stand with the cheerleaders and throw them in the air. He comes off as one of them type dudes. You dig what I'm saying? Real sensitive and extra weird in one of them spaces. I don't know the brother, but that's what he's coming off as, because we're in a space right now where we need our women. I need my woman to be tall and strong and be able to hit that target the way I hit that target. You dig what I'm saying? I don't need her to feel a ways about herself or to dehumanize her. That ain't gonna get it. They figured out the key. They build their women up strong. You dig what I'm saying? So who the hell are we to continuously have a narrative where you want your woman bowing down to somebody who is bowing down to the Europeans? Come on, homie. Come on. He don't speak no type of red, black, green, nothing. So, you know, that's my take on the dude. Right. And whoever's supporting him. You dig what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of dudes that support that little funny style.
A lot of beta males, homie. I see, you know.
Yeah, man. It's a lot of them. It's a lot of them. You know, weird shit. We in a weird society. We're in a weird time and space now. They could look the part, you know what I'm saying? With, you know, with the ties and the shirts and the, you know, they could look the part. They could look the part, but I see through them. If I put him in a pair of greens behind the wall, I know what he's going to be doing. I'll leave it at that.
Now, it recently came to light that Pop Smoke was allegedly murdered by a 15-year-old kid over a Rolex. Now, Charleston, you were charged with capital murder at 14 years old. Yeah. Do you have any sympathy?
Yeah.
Alleged killer. Understand his mindset.
Sadly, and ironically, I always sympathize with the killer before the victim. That's strange. I always look at the killer first, and then I take a look at the victim. They didn't show the face, but they described the kid. Very youthful, looked younger than 15 years old. They made very, very clear to make sure that he was a baby-faced child. And I said, man, it's the culture. It's the culture that says that value, a Frank Mueller watch, has more value than his life and Pop Smoke life, that I kill you for this watch. Homie, we killed the white man over some starter jackets. When they started showing us MTV cribs and they started taking us inside these big old homes, and they were showing us them watches with them diamonds in it, and they were showing us all them cars out in the driveway, we had no idea that wasn't the rappers' cars and watches and things.
Right.
So we aspire to have those things, even if it means killing you.
Yeah.
There's nothing around me to help me process my need of entitlement to make me kill you for what you have, right? There's nothing in my community. There's nothing in my culture. Nobody's in my home is helping me process this sense of entitlement on top of the lack of rationale that I have. I don't understand that I can work to get this. I don't understand none of what y'all showing me, but I will inside there. So, man, I can't blame that kid. I look back at the culture. They killing for chains that the record label give to one of them, and he go back and wear it in front of all his other friends. I think about the rapper YFN Lucci. When I used to see him and all the niggas around him look poor, but he be shining. And now he's caught up into a murder conspiracy plot with all the niggas that used to look poor. Homie, we gotta destroy the culture and the image that it presents that'll make a 15-year-old kid go kill a nigga for a watch. Our culture teach that, huh?
That's a fact, man. That's a fact, man. Hey, Karim, What you think about? What's your take on that? Do you have sympathy for the alleged killer, and do you understand the mindset and the circumstance that creates those type of kids?
Well, I understand it because I came from it. You know what I'm saying? You know my history. I was a stick-up kid since I was 12. I already, you know what I'm saying, and had knowledge of self. So again, I know the rage that burns in an individual that's aspiring to get those shiny things. You dig what I'm saying? I sympathize for not only him, but for Pop and for our community. I take responsibility for that. And I say it on my platforms or wherever I'm a guest at all the time, because I didn't get my message out there. That's what happens. You dig what I'm saying? Because our kids are being taught that to be a man is to be a criminal. They think that that is a coming of age. Even those who have a little bit of sense believe that they have to break the law in order to be a man. And that's what has to be stopped. They are burning on hate. I tell my people all the time, love is revolutionary. Revolution is love inspired. I love my brother, therefore I won't let nobody harm him. I love my brother, therefore I won't let nobody starve him. It is not that we hate white people. You dig? It is not that we hate them. That's not going to win us our liberation. We have to love ourselves, and you gotta get to that kid before he gets into that point, before the themes around his life puts him in a space where he say, yo, if I get that, I'm gonna be better. And I don't care what I gotta do to get it. You dig what I'm saying? I've been in that space. The only difference between me and them is that I seen them divine evils. I seen the 10% as my enemy. So I was dragging them all through Wall Street, Midtown, all that. But I could have easily been in a position where I would have killed somebody like that. That's something that's embedded because of our conditions. You understand what I'm saying? But this is the mindset of these kids. Why? Because we are not teaching them better. That's on me. That ain't on nobody else. I'm the OG. So they have to bend to my vibration. And my vibration is coming because I love them. Shorty, I can show you how to get clean. I can show y'all how to cut each other hair when y'all can't afford to go get y'all shit cut. We're the black women in the neighborhood that is doing the little girls' hair, so when they go to school or go wherever they need to go, they're not feeling shamed in themselves. Teaching them how to wash and clean, how to feed each other. You dig what I'm saying? That's on us. So of course, you dig what I'm saying? That was a talent that got wasted away. But again, he moved on that vibration. He put that music out. That was the vibration for his undoing. We got to hold that banner, man. We know what's going on. And as long as we let them suckers in the industry be more influential over our babies than we are, it's going to keep happening. We see how many rappers just got killed last week. All across the country, about 4 of them got bodied. This is a problem. It's problematic, not only throughout the industry, but I see, listen, man, every day somebody getting shot in Brooklyn. That's on me. That's on mine. That's on my watch. That's on my watch. My word got to get out there better than anything else.
Now, I just uploaded a documentary about the Water Boys here in Atlanta. Now, I want all the viewers to go watch it. If you haven't seen it, y'all make sure y'all go watch it, because I really wanted to do it so y'all can understand where these kids come from. Because these people that's judging them and these folks that's pulling up to these red lights, they don't come from those neighborhoods. So they don't understand the shit that them kids could be doing other than selling water. You know what I mean? I don't care if it's 10 to 5 of them. That's 5 of them that's doing something legal that day. That's 5 of them that's not going to go to jail that day. It's a lot of others that don't have the money to even start selling water. It's a lot. So I wanted to put something out for people to really get a different understanding of those kids, man. So the boys are basically kids who sell water and cold drinks to motorists. Now, do you think the Water Boy movement is positive, or do you think it's negative?
Well, anytime we find a way to get out of the conditions, and it is, again, when you have a society like the United States of America, built on capitalism. Anytime they not making money, anytime they not taxing you, and you find a way to get out of your conditions, it's borderline illegal. You understand? So they're gonna always come down on these kids. They're gonna always come down on the image of how they look and what they're doing. Our job as older people and as community representatives is to give it a different look. What's the problem? Y'all say that's a problem? Okay, we need to dress shorty and them up in a different aspect, even if they gotta wear the same kind of t-shirt to put a little something on it to make it look presentable to them, and get them out there and show them how to do it right. Simple as that. Our people gonna always find a way to eat when you telling us we can't eat. Simple as that. You dig?
Awesome.
I don't know what's going on down there like that, but we've been doing that in New York for years. You understand?
Oh, yeah, even going back to the Daily News and selling the Newsday newspapers and all that. But Charleston, what's your thoughts?
Man, how can you look at some of what children is doing, and they're doing it out of need, right? This activity was created and evolved out of a need. So how can you look at it and say it's wrong, or say it's not right? Because it's an alternative, it's an option. It may not be efficient with what's going on, because you got children trying to conflict resolute with a hungry stomach, with coming out of abused conditions, and got to go back into it when they come off that corner. When I go to Atlanta and I look at those water boys, I think about the movie Shaka Zulu. When Shaka realized that he was tricked by the Europeans, he asked himself a question. He said, how do you trap a monkey? And he was contemplating. And he answered himself. He said, how do you trap a monkey? And he thought for a minute. He said, with shiny objects. With shiny objects. So you think about that statement when you're looking at them kids out there, homie. They're in Atlanta with all them shiny objects. All them shiny objects passing by there. Some of the richest Black people in the history is living there now. Some of the most prominent Black wealth exists there. You mean to tell me we can't rescue our workforce off the corner before they get criminalized?
Right.
That's our workforce. That's our army. Those are our pilots. Homie, they right there on that corner, homie. Prison go get them, but we can send them in other directions. But when you look at what Brother Karim just said, this is a capitalist country, and by this being a capitalist country, capitalism trumps citizenship. And now consumerism now trumps citizenship. We're not citizens anymore. We're the American consumers. And so when you wake up and you're a consumer, you need money. You need money just to leave your house. So, homie, it's on us to go rescue those children where they don't have to try to beg to sell water. They begging to sell water.
Yeah.
And we're passing by them about to allow the city of Atlanta to criminalize their parents for selling water.
Right.
We should step up as a race, homie, and start with Atlanta water boys.
They're gonna start finding the parents. That's
man, they criminalize. They
criminalize anything to criminalize us, man. The system got to get fed. You got to understand. Most people now, their consciousness is starting to flicker. It's starting to flicker. That means the prisons are not being filled. That means a lot of negative aspects. You know what I'm saying? Them little dudes could have been doing anything. They could have been smoking or selling dope. So that very time and space is not being utilized in the prison. That tax money, they're going to find the parents because these young dudes is getting tax money that the government ain't seeing. Simple as that. When you pull from the system The system is going to get it in a different direction. And it's up to us. Again, like the brother said, this wealthy, y'all fronting, y'all got Atlanta housewife, this one, that one, stripper this, stripper that, baller this, rapper that, and y'all really not going to help organize those teams because you damn sure don't have no summer youth program out there. So how else these little dudes supposed to get funding? How else are they going to, you know what I'm saying, feed that entrepreneurial drive that y'all speak about? You know what I'm saying? In these little TV shows, reality shows, you know what I'm saying? Get your hustle on and all that slick shit. They doing it.
Now, Karim and Charleston, both of you guys have presences on social media. Now, there was a time when rappers looked down on bloggers, the podcasters, the interviewers, the reporters. They labeled them as, you know, gossipy and chatty patties became a term. But now you see all of these rappers themselves becoming podcasters, bloggers, and etc. How ironic is this? And what are your thoughts?
I look down on rappers. Yeah, when I see a nigga rapping on me, I automatically look down on him. Yeah, so yeah, I kind of despise rappers. Yeah, homie, I don't think they real. I think most rappers are hoe ass niggas. That's why they rapping, and they got to keep a bunch of niggas with them. So yeah, I don't take rappers' opinions serious at all, my nigga. They're the lowest form of a man in the village that any black man can aspire to be. So the opinions of rappers should be taken very lightly. But in response to that, I once heard Baba Dick Gregory say in an interview to a young nigga that this one microphone that you're talking on is more powerful than your 15 favorite celebrities. Mm-hmm. And not only did he say how powerful that microphone is, he made a term and said that we are our media. We are our media. We write our narrative. And if we don't use that microphone right and properly, then we are hurting our own people. So when I stepped up to the microphone, homie, I vowed not to lie, steal, or cheat. So I don't lie to them people. Them rappers been lying. If you don't tell the whole truth, you lying. If you tell part of the truth, you lying. And they've been lying, homie. So of course they would speak against those with the microphone that's not doing what they doing. So now they have entered into this world to come lie without beats, because all they doing is promoting the same images with the same narrative. So we still lose.
Kareem, what's your take, bro?
You already know I'm in NYC. I know the majority of them broke. They broke. Can't do no shows. They don't vibrate to the same vibration that the kids are vibrating on. Nobody know them. They done off. They trying to find a way to get back into the machine. And again, they have to resort to whatever the Euro is telling them. So they get instructions passed down on to them. They seen that the podcasters found a way organically to take their information and to make that intellectual property tangible to them. So now the rapper, while he's still struggling with his punk ass to get his publishing from one of these little small, you know, Euro dudes who ain't but a minute, but control his whole life, control his whole finances in his hands. You dig what I'm saying? While he trying to figure out a way to do that, they searching, they looking. Oh, word, they getting money podcasting. Let me jump into that. Oh, okay. I'm going to take my audience, the visibility that I have, and I'm going to transition it somewhere else. But again, they cannot, just like the brother said, they stay with the same image and the same, non-information based platforms. You dig? So they're going to burn out. I don't pay them no mind. I'm coming from a space where my information can make your life better. It's going to give you tangible results to improve the quality of your life And a rapper can't do that, especially when you just been in the industry for 10, 15, 20 years, telling people how to smoke, telling people how to slap women, telling people how to wear their pants off their ass, telling people the same dumb, regressive bullshit. It's not going to pan out. You're going to burn out anyway. So I don't pay them dudes no mind when they do that. I would never have none of them on my platform. You dig what I'm saying?
Okay. Now, first of all, I want to thank both of you brothers for coming on the platform. Charleston, everybody that the naysayers and the people that say, oh, Karim, because people have opinion. Everybody got opinions, but you also going to have a lot of people that hate on you as well. So both of you guys I'm pretty sure you get a lot of positive feedback, and you probably get a lot of negative shit too as well. But people don't understand. Like when you watch Denzel Washington, when he played in Training Day, that character that he was playing, that was a character. That's not the man. So when you guys have all these crazy opinions about Charleston, about Karim, about everybody else that's outspoken, get to know them as a person, as a man first, because they're using the character to get your attention. Some people might call it the bait and switch, but that's just the tactic that we got to use to get the message out. So just y'all make sure that y'all not overlooking the person by disliking the character. So with that,
let me say this, fam. Malcolm X was a character. Martin Luther King was a character. His children didn't get to know the man. They got to know. They know the character. Betty Shabazz knew the man. We know the character, homie. Martin Luther King's daughter, the youngest one, she resent black people because she never got to know her father, because he had to be this character for these people who don't even value who he was as a man. To this day. I can't be what these motherfucking people want me to be for them, homie. So if I end up dead like Malcolm, they go on and just celebrate me one day out the year. I'd much rather be forgotten, homie, and be disliked, rather than remember how Malcolm and Martin Luther King gets remembered. One day out of the year, only to be shamed and spit on the rest of the year, and how black people see them and view each other. So I understand that we need characters. We got biblical characters. We need characters, homie. But my actions speak much louder than the words of the character. And yet, black people have stopped to look at the actions. Homie, my action says who I am, not the character. And that's all I'll be trying to get people to see, homie, my actions. In my community, I'm a pillar. Inside of the home with my wife and my children, I'm a pillar. When I'm with my mother and my grandmother on Mother's Day, I sit at the head of the table. I pay for the whole meals for all the women. I'm a pillar. I'm an honorable man to my village. Not many men could say that. So that's what I stand on. That's what I argue when I get all of this hate. And when people can see the man, then it's easier to understand the character.
Karim, anything?
I don't give a fuck about the hate. I'll tell you like this. Because one thing, I'm very accessible in the town. People know me from a pup. I still got OGs that I respect, that seen me come up. You dig what I'm saying? People know me and call me different names based on the time constraint or based on the time and space that I was in. So people know Karim, people could call me K, people know me as Bliz, some people know me by different names behind the walls, but my character, my integrity is always the same. So people know that this is the work, right? I got day one homies that know that this is what I've been telling them even when we were in the street, acting a fool. So this is who I am. This is who I am. I welcome the hate. Yeah, because I hate anybody who does not stand tall for Black women and children, and who does not stand tall for real dudes that are trying to make sure that we all come through this in a better level.
Now I want to ask you both this. Do you guys ever fear for your safety, and do you move a certain type of way since acquiring this fame?
Nah, homie. I don't have no fear, and a lot of people think I'm a fool, because I walk as if everybody loved me. I hadn't experienced no hate in person. I hadn't experienced no hate, homie. It's all on the internet. I have no reason other than on the internet to have any caution that I could be in danger. In real life, I don't have no signs that I could be harmed.
Okay. Karim?
Don't nobody know me like that. You know what I'm saying? I still, do my work in the community. I still, run around. I move like an East New York dude anyway. So, our levels is different. We were raised in Vietnam-like conditions. You know what I'm saying? So that's going to always be a part of me. I move as a predator because that's how I was taught. So, I don't worry about nobody, especially, most of these individuals who do hate, or most of these comments that we receive online. People don't understand that people pay people to distract our message, to cause the dialogue some friction. So I don't pay that no mind. A lot of those people are fictitious people. They're bots. They're not even, they're computer generated. So I don't listen to none of that. And like Charleston said, I don't see no hate in the street when I'm out in the community doing the work. But I'm an East New Yorker. We move different. We move different. I'm always ready to take somebody's life. Always. That's just how I was raised.
Yeah. Now, anything? Look, Charleston. Now we got a lot of stuff coming up. We let you in on it, Charleston. Let's speak on the so we'll let the people know about the reunion thing that we working on.
We got the Raised by the State reunion, man. Infomize is coming to Texas. We got the first generation of children, late 80s, early 90s, who began to commit crimes such as capital murder, attempted capital murder, who are the first generation of children in Texas who fell under a juvenile law that's called determined sentencing, where a kid can be sentenced up to 40 years. So it's about 50 individuals we're going to do a documentary on, man. So it's called Raised by the State. Many of these individuals committed these crimes at age 12, 13, 14, and 15. And they've served 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29 years incarcerated for choices and decisions that they made as children, which was considered crimes. So most of them, not most of them, all of them are free now, living productive, pro-social lives. And so he's going to capture that story to the world, man. So I think it's going to be a award winning.
Yeah, that's peace.
We're excited, man. We're really excited. We're really excited. Can't wait to get down there to Texas, man, and get to work, man. Kareem, anything that you working on, anything coming up, anything you want to plug?
Well, other than getting this podcast off the ground, Outspoken, of course, executive produced by Doggy Diamonds, No Filter, that brother put me on to a totally different level. You understand? And it's all out of love and because of respect the work, that I do and the camaraderie that we share with each other. Because, this is the time, man. This is the vibration. This is where you're going to see a lot of the work across the world of true Black men. And they're in our age group. We talking 40, 45, 50 that are committed to getting back in there. They can't stop this at all. That's why I said, welcome all the struggle, because we're going to win. I believe in my people. I always tell them, don't believe in me. Believe in my belief in you, because I guarantee you we're going to make it through this. So other than, getting that podcast off the ground and still working with the Fatherhood Initiative, where we deal with fathers who, have order protections and got to take anger management, parenting skills, and batterers accountability. That's what I'm going to be doing, for the duration, and still working with, the anti-gun violence in our communities.
Okay, well, look, man, I'm gonna thank both. I thank both of you brothers for your time. Everybody, make sure y'all get in tune with the brother Karim. Y'all make sure y'all tap into game related, not gang related. The podcast hosted by my brother Charleston J. White, and I can't forget one time for the big dog, man, Dewberry. Salute, my brother, and I can't wait till we get down and get to work, man. I appreciate you fellas' time, man.
Already, man.
Salute.
Peace and love.
My pleasure meeting you and becoming acquainted with you firsthand.
I gotta get you hooked up, man.
That's a fact, man. That's a fact.
Once or twice a week, man. Yeah, I gotta feed off of
real from the real.
Yeah,
definitely.
I gotta feed off of it. Yeah.